Hello everyone and welcome to the Average Joe's tournament. This is 1v1. It is the finals match. This is the Canadian versus Jicabou. Terran versus Protoss in our final game, and this is game number 1, best of 3. First person to get 2 wins wins this tournament. I'd like to give a quick shout out to HD and Husky. Love the StarCraft Arena website. Max Viren for doing this entire tournament. We will have a link to that website at the bottom. And that's about it for right now. Nothing real fancy happening, so maybe we'll just watch the game for a change. Check out that fancy probe. Good stuff. Apparently one of the spectators was lagging there for a moment. That's why you see Canadian freaking out. And looks like Canadian is going once again for this big fat wall off that he loves to do on almost every map. Usually you only see Terrans do this against Zerg so that they can stop Zerglings and things like that from speeding into their base. It's also decent against Terran and Protoss players because if you can get this wall off in time without any probes sneaking in here, you can deny scouting completely. Not going to matter on this map too much because the rush distance is very long and this gap is very wide, so at the end of the day it's probably going to equate to about the same thing. And using that probe to harass those little SCVs, just trying to micro him around and keep him busy. Always, I've seen that every single game in this tournament with Protoss players so far, just using those probes shields to their best advantage. Shields on probes regenerate extremely fast, and so he's just running around right now trying to get as much scouting information to stay alive as long as possible. And yeah, he's doing just fine right now, chilling out there. This barracks is about to finish. Meanwhile, this SCV actually gets caught in this little wall here. If you can see that, he does kill that SCV with his probe. That SCV is not able to escape that little hole there. So the Canadian scout just got killed off by a probe. A lot of probe and SCV killing these last few games, and the cybernetics core goes down for Jicabou. Meanwhile, his probe is coming back, pulling back just a little bit there. That Marine is about to finish, so no more scouting going to happen here, most likely. At least after the supply depot finishes, he won't have to worry about it anymore. There it goes. And I really expect to see a real quick tech lab or maybe even a factory. He is going double gas here, so we can probably expect to see some kind of siege tanks. Cybernetics core going down for Jicabou. This is very similar to some of the games we've seen before. And getting a fast stock route, always a good choice as Protoss against Terran, just because it's very obnoxious to try and deal with Reapers with Zealots. And we do have that fast factory going down from Canadian, as well as Orbital Command just about to finish. Always very important to get that Orbital Command as early as possible. And looks like Jicabou has the Zelnaga Watchtower right now. And he is warping in 2 more gateways, also getting a pylon way up here to the north, probably either to scout if there's any kind of medevac drops or Banshee harass going on, or we could also see maybe some hidden tech or production buildings. It looks like he is about to build something, a Stargate. So we are seeing a hidden Stargate from Jicabou at the north of his base. Nothing really anti-air yet for the Canadian, but there is a reactor going down on this barracks, as well as a starport coming up very quickly there, and a tech lab. So we're probably going to see siege tanks, a lot of Marines, so he'll be able to deal with any kind of void rays. And I don't know, it's going to come out of the starport, maybe medevacs for more meta drops. He has used that in quite a few games now. And now these gateways are about to finish, that warp gate's about to finish, so Jicabou is going to be able to warp in a very large army very quickly with this 3 warp gate push. And this Stargate up here, just love this hidden Stargate. Working off 1 base, this is exactly what you want to have as Protoss. 3 production, 3 warp gates, and then 1 extra production building. Usually a robo facility. A lot of Protoss players love to chrono boost an early observer out, just so they can get in there and scout behind that wall. But nothing like that coming quite yet. We do have a reactor going down on the starport. And yes, we do have siege tanks coming out of that factory. No Thors or anything crazy like that quite yet. And it looks like Jicabou is pushing out just a tiny bit here, trying to get a little peep. And I'm not sure if he wants to put his whole army down here, because if there's any kind of flanking or harass going on, it's going going to take quite a while to get back up, but it looks like he's going to go straight over here and try and make something happen. This Void Ray is coming in from the north, though, and it doesn't look like Canadian has any sort of defense. He should really do a double-pronged attack here, but it looks like this Void Ray is actually just going to pull off and come to another side. Meanwhile, we have his ground force of Jicabou tearing away at these destructible rocks here, and this Void Ray also hitting the supply depot, trying to get that beam charged up, but that is a lot of Marines for one Void Ray to deal with, even with that full charge going. And it looks like his shields are down, so he's not going to be able to do too much against these Marines. In fact, I'd probably pull back if I were him. Those shields are extremely low. Any damage is going to stay. He cannot repair that. And these destructible rocks are just about finished. He's going to come up here to the north with that Void Ray and continue to harass. But, oh man, just barely making it out of there. And still just continuing to micro-harass with this Void Ray. Trying to make something happen, but ooh, all the way down to 32 health, so that Void Ray is not going to be able to do much else unless Jicabou wants to lose it. So he's going to pull that Void Ray back, dropping down some more pylons, getting in Brobo facility. I really like that. And let's see, moving across the map with these units still. It looks like he's checking for a natural expansion. He does not want to get behind on something like that. But nothing quite yet. Canadian playing very defensively, and look at this. 2 medevacs, looks like 2 siege tanks and 1 full of Marines. I can only assume we're going to see a